Hello everyone, Marcelo is my name. I'm the niche fragrance collector and I am doing a deep dive in all things Orto Parisi. Now it's interesting, I say deep dive, Megamare, bada-boom. In 2017, Alessandro Gualtieri released Terroni, which is all about the land. It's an ode to the actual land that he was from, all those components to it. Now in 2019, 2 years later, he released Megamare. So there's a bit of a rhythm here, one to the land, now one to the ocean. If you want a beautiful aquatic fragrance, light and sparkling, this is not it. If you do want a wonderful aquatic fragrance, I would recommend to you Goldfield & Banks' Pacific Rock Moss, spectacular fragrance, or even Wall Street by Bond No. 9, beautiful aquatic fragrance, slightly different, or even Millésime Impérial by Creed. Gorgeous, wonderful aquatic fragrances, make you happy when you spray it. Unfortunately, when I first tested Megamare, I had my brain was, oh, aquatic. I love aquatic fragrances. I have a collection of them. And I sprayed it. It started off beautifully. Then it just went into this weird, dark, musky. There was an undertone of something else going on. And I lie not, I had to wash it off. I was in the car. And it was blowing my brain. I had to have the windows down. When I got into the office, I had to wash off Megamare. It was just too much for me. Probably about a year later, and listening or reading reviews and listening to other people talking about Megamare, and I'm like, I couldn't see why are people attracted to this fragrance, that I gave it another go. This fragrance is spectacular. This fragrance is like nothing else. This is the most complex in the whole collection that Alessandro has created for Orto Parisi. The sneakiness about this fragrance is that it starts off so beautiful. It has this aromatic-like quality. I do get like a bouquet of aromatic components to it, which is bright, inviting. It lingers for me for about half an hour. So I'm in this beautiful, bright airiness, happiness. And then, as I said, then it turns on me. Then I'm like, what just happened? Well, where's that beautiful bottle of perfume that I was sprayed on earlier? It goes into, so if I can define it, it starts off with a wonderful aromatic herb-like quality to it. It then migrates to like a sea salt, aquatic, ozonic component. But there begins to develop this darkness. And then finally it settles into this musky, I wouldn't say woods, because I reckon I believe, like actually it could be woods, because one thing that we do know, and I made this comment earlier on, even though Alessandro doesn't disclose notes, he has disclosed that there is oud within the Orto Parisi range. There is oud in all the fragrances. So there is oud here, and maybe that's now in that dry down, I'm getting that musky, I'm going to say this ambergris, being that it's an aquatic fragrance. So musky, ambergris, oudy sort of fragrance at the end, which just, and when I first smelt it, completely destabilized me. I'm like, I don't understand this fragrance. I don't understand what's going on here, and I need to wash it off. I joked earlier that this is not an aquatic fragrance, and look, and I'm still going to put it down. This is not an aquatic fragrance. This is not an aquatic fragrance in your traditional sense. This is an ocean fragrance, and this fragrance, I guess, captures the vastness of the ocean, from the gray abyss, that the darkness, to the light that shimmers, or the sunlight that shimmers on the water. It has both of those elements. I love the fragrance for the fact that it evolves so much. I mean, normally a fragrance will go from beautiful sparkling opening to this semi-dry down, and it begins to change, and then finally in the base it becomes all those other components sort of settle into it. This is constantly dancing. So this is now deep in the dry down. I'm smelling those early aromatic components to it, but it quickly sort of it whispers past me, and then it goes into that deep darkness of I'm going to say the oud or the ambergris, all those musky components that are there. It almost smells, and honestly, this fragrance here is a journey. It almost feels like you're actually walking along the seashore. People love beast mode fragrances. This is your beast mode. This is a sea monster beast mode version of it. Because I've been testing this fragrance in preparation for today, I was wearing it the other day, had friends come over. Now, the moment they walked into the house, literally they crossed the threshold into my home, and they're like, I love the fragrance you're wearing today. I mean, this was filling up the room. I mean, even to the next day, this fragrance still lingers. I warn you, 2 to 3 sprays is really, I think if you do 4 sprays, you're gonna kill not only yourself, but everyone around you. This is a 2 to 3 spray fragrance that will then, it'll create the longevity that you want out of it. It will create the projection and sillage that you want. This is one that, so my wife enjoys this fragrance, but at a distance. So the sillage on this, she loves. When she comes in closer, so this is if I'm going to be close and intimate with my wife, this is definitely not one that I will be wearing. I think also that the way that Alessandro has designed the bottle and the color of the actual juice is an indication of what it's about. If you look at it, I mean, in this light, I can see it has like an aquatic green, translucent, inviting component to it. And if I actually put this light against it, it gives us this, look at this greeny tinge that's happening here. It's glorious. And then you take the light away from it and it becomes this gray, sort of dark looking, dismal looking juice. And I think that's what he's trying to, well, in my opinion, you know, so artistically, I think that's what he's captured in the actual bottle itself. Even the lid itself, I love this lid too. So the top part is this mother of pearl, shiny and seashell, which is the glory of the ocean. But then it's an oxidized sort of steel cap, which also talks about the destructive nature of the ocean, of sea salt and all those components to it. Everybody knows Australia, we're known for our beaches. My uncle from Argentina came to Australia and he couldn't wait to jump into the ocean. We have an area here called the Great Ocean Road. Now the Great Ocean Road is equal part glorious and beauty and destructive scariness. So there are parts that you do not swim along the Great Ocean Road, even though it looks inviting. We went to one area where the way that the color of the sand, the ocean, the sun shining through, the way the surf was moving, and he wanted to jump in. And I'm like, no, we don't swim here. We just look at this panorama, but we don't actually swim here. And he was like, no, I'm a good swimmer. And I'm like, we do not swim here. This is where you die. This is where you drown. And I don't want to be responsible for that. We went to another area where we were able to swim. So I think this is almost like, I guess, an interpretation, what he's done here. So you have equal part beauty, that freshness, that brightness, but at the same time, that darkness that exists also in the ocean. Actually, that same panorama, the moment that the sun is shining on this water, making it sparkling, and it's almost like a mermaid singing to you. Just come in and enjoy this, the freshness of this ocean. The moment that the sun is then covered by cloud, that same water develops this murky grayness. I mean, it's actually quite scary seeing it from this brightness and beauty to this, all of a sudden it looks menacing. The way the waves are crashing on the shore without the sunlight on it, it gives it a menacing feel to it. Again, I think that this is what's happening here. So we are invited in by the freshness, by this beauty, this aromatic component to the fragrance. But then as it settles, it becomes this dark, this more brooding, this musky tone to it. And again, this evolves all the way through the fragrance. This is not a classic beginning, middle, and end. It starts, yes, fresh, but then as the fragrance, and 6 hours from now, the fragrance still retains its component of freshness, but still with that underlying darkness and musky tones to it. But it's spectacular. It is spectacular. It is one of the most glorious, complex, exciting, niche fragrances that is out there. So forget the Orto Parisi. In general, Megamare is one of those absolute classics. Anyway, I do love Orto Parisi. I do love Alessandro. I love, as I said, all the components of creativity that he throws in to his fragrance. It becomes more than just a perfume. It's an art piece, essentially. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to your comments. We'll see you on the next episode.